I was thinking back to like how we got introduced, and it was social media. And I didn't know you, and I just started getting onto Instagram. I was like posting stuff about health, and you had reached out. And I just remember like, who is this kid Rem that's just asking all these questions? Yeah. And it wasn't just like one question or two. It was like every other day was a new question. And I was like
surprised that you'd get back to me all the time. I was really appreciative of that.
No, it was amazing because most people do ask questions on there, and I try to get back to everyone because most of the questions I feel like, all right, this is a good question. Let's answer this and maybe like, get into a discussion. And you kept going back and forth. And I was like, man, this guy's persistent. And it was like, but you did have this curiosity to figure out like things about your health, about optimization, everything else. Did you always have like the drive to learn more?
Yeah, I kind of think I was forced to at the same time, but just like kind of going back to that intro, like it was funny that you always responded because I was asking you, like I was sending you novels and they were not easy questions to answer. They were like deep questions and you always got back to me. So it was great. And I guess, to answer your question, I think I always had it in me. I'm really grateful that, my dad played in the NHL and my mom was an Olympic level gymnast. She was going to, be going to the Olympics, but she broke her leg. So I think it was pretty obvious I was going to be an athlete. And so that was kind of in there, but it was really interesting. My mom was kind of the one who started me on this kind of like outside the box thinking. It was really weird because I did have my health challenges growing up just with, I had like these weird coughs all the time, sometimes low energy and just different things like that where I felt like I was always in the doctor's office. And my mom would be the one bringing me there. And then like, the doctor would say like, let's do this. And then we'd get done. My mom would grab the prescriptions for me. Then she'd be like, I don't really like trust them. Like, let's go to the chiropractor and like see what's going on over there, stuff like that. So like, I feel like my upbringing like brought me to that and like this drive for my parents to succeed as athletes. And then my mom's kind of like outside the box thinking about health. It really kind of came about that way. And I feel like it just kind of kept going.
And let's talk about that because you had some health challenges, but yet you were the supreme athlete, probably even when you were a child growing up. You're obviously a great athlete now playing professional hockey, but you did have these things that would show up and you'd kind of go into different doctors' offices and keep searching. Can you go into a little bit about that journey of, being an athlete, but still having this idea of some sort of dysfunction or something that was preventing you from being optimally healthy?
Yeah, I think it really comes back to our question that so many people ask, like nature versus nurture. And I think so much of like why I've developed this way is because of my environment and the people that have come to my life. I mentioned my mom, but another person that comes to my mind is, it's funny, like, the NHL is a big business and agents and different things like that. And I'm lucky that, an agent came into my life and I was actually, this is health related. I was having these really weird hip flexor injuries. Like I could not even like skate anymore. It's getting to the point where like, I might not even be able to play hockey anymore. My hips were so weird. And, hockey players, we're doing our workouts, our strides. It's not like walking. They say it's not like mechanically how a human should move. And my hip flexors were just like terrible. I couldn't really skate anymore. And this guy came into my life from my best friend. He introduced me to him after I went through the gauntlet of chiropractors, naturopaths, physiotherapists, all of it. And this guy, he's an agent. He's representing guys who are making a lot of money. And, he basically like said, let me take a look at you. And I reluctantly said, yeah. And he puts me on the table and he starts like sticking his finger in the roof of my mouth, like massaging the roof of my mouth. I'm like, what is going on here? And then he gets me like this helmet, this like massage helmet that I'm wearing, like this Back to the Future, like helmet on my head, like, and it's massaging my head. And then he's like, hey, I want you to go see a chiropractor, like Nuka Chiropractic. And then, they lay you on the table. I'm not sure if you've had that type of adjustment, but it's just like a small little, they like push your atlas and it's nothing. And you get up and you're like, what? And then all of a sudden I started to like feel better. And I was like, what is going on? So yeah, like the hip flexor injury, I said, like I had different coughs and different things where I was always prescribed on antibiotics or steroids or different things like that. And I don't know, it just kind of like one thing led to the other. And these people are coming in and sharing like, different lifestyle changes. And it just kind of I feel like I had the athlete mentality from my parents just to drive to want to succeed. But then they introduced me to all these people that were like, all right, these are common things that happen in life. And I've seen it a little bit of different way. And I'm going to show you something different. And I can't argue it. It just worked for me. So I just kind of stuck with this outside the box thinking.